For this course, which mainly we are focusing on Python to run data science and data analytics projects, we are actually starting from beginner level. So I don't think you need to first research on Python because we'll actually do it here. So we are going to tackle all the aspects in Python that now will give you confidence in now tackling data science and data analytics projects. So initially, Python was a prerequisite, but we thought maybe if you want to get a good number of students, we should start by now elaborating on Python and now touching on the most important areas that we need to focus on so that now we are ready to tackle data science and analytics projects. So that's why we are actually taking this whole January to introduce anyone who's not familiar with Python, so that now come February, everyone should be ready now, so that now we can proceed to data science for those who are taking data science and data analytics for those who are taking data analytics. I hope I've answered you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Sound good.
Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. So I think now we can start together. I think now we can start together. Now, if you're able to see my screen, we had mentioned about who is this course for. So just to repeat, I say this course is for any student or any professional. Maybe you are in another industry, but you are ready. To actually learn, not even to understand. You are ready to learn the basics of Python programming, which you're actually starting today. And if you're able to do that one, this is also
I'm misled.
Wait, lazima learn Python.
Yes, he.
Ndio kwa mtu wa data science.
now
That's misleading.
I don't know anyone. Someone might is on. Yeah. So then now, if you're able to understand the basics of Python programming, we will use this Python with an intent as a tool for data intensive computation science. So there are these libraries that we are going to learn here, including NumPy. We are going to talk about pandas. We are going to talk about matplotlib for data visualization. We are going to do scikit-learn. That is when you're doing machine learning. Later, we'll be doing deep learning. We'll be talking about Keras and other libraries that we have. So that is something I mentioned. Yesterday, we also mentioned about the marketplace. In case you are not there, we mentioned that this course, data science, it is one of the fastest growing job according to LinkedIn and one of the most flexible job according to Glassdoor. So there is a lot of opportunities here because what we mentioned yesterday is that businesses are producing a lot of data. And now they need professionals who are able to use the data that is being produced to generate insights that will help in making data-driven, it's normally called well-informed, data-driven decisions for businesses, okay? So there are a lot of job opportunities here for anyone. Maybe you're thinking about changing maybe the field, or maybe you're planning to advance in your career. There are a lot of job opportunities. I think we mentioned about several here. We mentioned about data scientists. We mentioned about data analysts. We mentioned data engineers, business intelligence specialists, those people who normally design the dashboards. We have data architects and so on and so forth. So these are very important sessions you need to go through so that now you may understand what we are planning to achieve later in the future. So we also mentioned about the skills. where we'll be talking about statistical analysis. So these are very important skills, especially if you want to detect patterns and anomalies within data. So we'll be doing statistics. Machine learning is also one of the crucial skills that we're going to learn here, because it will mainly focus on designing statistical models that will enable computers to automatically learn from data and make decisions on their own. Computer sciences, here we'll be talking about aspects to do with artificial intelligence. At some point, we'll be talking about database systems, where this is actually where data is stored in most systems. So if you want to fetch a lot of data, then they are hosted in a database. Yes, human-computer interaction, that is what we're actually planning to do today, because for you to effectively run a software, you need to interact with a computer through a programming language, so that now you can feed instructions to a computer. Then we'll be doing some numerical computations, where we'll be using a library called NumPy to run mathematical models that are essential for data science and data analytics projects. So we'll be talking about matrices. At some point, we'll be doing some vectors, and so on and so forth. Another very, very important skill is programming, which I normally, based on my experience, I normally see programming as the biggest barrier for most of the professionals who want to learn data science. So I'm hoping by the end of this month, you are able to write computer programs, which data science mainly focuses on Python, R, or Julia. But in this program, you're going to use Python because it's the widely used language to analyze data sets and so on and so forth. And then another vital skill is data storytelling. So this is actually mainly focusing on ways you are able to communicate those insights to non-technical audiences, like managers, directors, or CEOs, because these are the people who are responsible for making decisions in organizations. And now we want them to make data-driven, well-informed decisions. Therefore, we need to communicate this insight in a more effective manner so that even the non-technical guys can understand it. So I think you'll go through some of the concepts here, and the class that we did yesterday was recorded here, so you can go through it if you have time. Then from there, today, I think I should complete it. I think I never mentioned this one here. What is data science? So for you to clearly understand data science, we can go to the study that was conducted in 2013. And people realized that, I want you to imagine this one, 90% of the entire world's data has been created. It was created actually within the previous 2 years. So we're actually saying that in just 2 years, we were able to collect 9 times the amount of information than the previous 92,000 years of humankind combined. So what this one tells you is that a lot of data is being produced in this era, and it is estimated that 44 zettabytes of data will be created by the end of this year, 2025. And this trend will actually continue to grow in the coming years. The reason being is that businesses will continue to use technology and innovations. And because of this reason, this technology and innovation produce data. So what do we do with the question is now, what do we do with all this data? It's being produced every day. How do we make it useful to us? Please check your mics. Please check your mics. And also, what are the real world applications of this data that is being produced every day? So these are the fundamental questions that are in the heart of data science. And it's exactly what we'll be answering in this course. So this field is growing very fast. So many industries are being revolutionized, and it's very, very difficult to explain in simple terms what is data science. Therefore, I think the best term to describe data science is that it is the art of discovering insights, trends, and patterns from raw data, and then being able to explain the insight to people. And now these people are able to make key decisions based on your insights. So you as a data scientist, your role is to discover insights, trends, patterns from data, and then communicating this insight to individuals who now able to make their key decision based on the insight. So this is something that really interests me. Most people nowadays say that data, it's commonly referred to as the oil of the 21st century. So remember, oil was the biggest contributor to big economies because oil was the key driver of most of the industries. Yeah, I think that is what I was mentioning here, that oil was a key driver during the Industrial Revolution. And countries that utilized it properly, that era became so rich. So countries like Germany, the European countries, they were able to utilize oil for their manufacturing processes. I think they became very, very rich. Now I want you to compare that one here. We can now even say that similarly, data and information is also viewed as the key driver for most industries today. And this is the reason why companies that have a lot of data, I want you to imagine we have Meta, we have Google, we have Microsoft, are actually perceived to be some of the richest countries in this decade, because the reason being is that they have a lot of data. So data science actually have a lot of benefits in businesses, in those people who are doing research, and in our everyday lives. So for example, maybe you might not be aware, but let's imagine your route to work. Those people normally use cabs or Uber. We're able to determine your route to work, or your recent Google search for the latest shoe brand, or the nearest restaurant. Your Instagram posts about what you ate last week, or something, or maybe you are tweeting your opinion on X platform. All these are important to different data scientists in different ways, because if I know the search to the nearest restaurant, I can use that one for advertising. If I'm able to get your opinion on the X platform, I'm able to analyze maybe and get what maybe you like, what you don't like, and so on and so forth. So therefore, to finalize, we can actually say that data scientists work through a lot of data, looking for connections and patterns, and it is responsible for bringing new products, delivering breakthroughs, insight, and making our lives more convenient as we reflect on the sustainable development goals. So for example, if you look at the United Nations, they're actually perceiving that we can use data to achieve the sustainable development goals, like climate change actions, reducing poverty, accessing to a quality education, providing equality in the world. So most people are perceiving that we can actually use data to achieve this kind of goals. For example, zero hunger. So this is something you can actually go through so that now you can clearly understand the field that you are into now. So I think you need to mark it as complete, because you cannot go to I think this should have been here. I don't know how this should have been here, sorry. I don't know how it entered here. Okay, but we are going to do this one later, Google Colab. I think let's just mark it as completed. This should be part of Python. It will be the environment that we'll be using to write our program. So just mark it as complete, but I'll go back there. I'm sorry. I think it should have been here after Python programming, after Jupyter Notebook, then we should have mentioned now what is Google Colab. So I think we're going to do that one later. Just mark it as complete. Just mark it as complete. And then you also need to go through this Zoom class. I hope you did that one. Mark it as complete. For those who are not able to join our classes yesterday, and now today, this is where I wanted us to start off and ensure that now we are able to understand how to write programs, because that is actually an essential requirement. I hope you are there. I'm not going very fast, so I can give you the 2 minutes to complete all the classes from introduction to data science and machine learning concepts, so that now all of us together, we can start by understanding what is programming. Okay, so it's already 9:29, so let's start by 9:30, so that now we can define what is programming, why is Python for preferred language for data science. We are going to talk about what is a Jupyter Notebook, and then we do some practical labs, so that now we go together. And then we talk about variables. So giving everyone the minute remaining, so that now you can complete all the lessons. Make sure they are marked completed. And now later we will be having a quiz. We'll be uploading a quiz later, just to test your knowledge, whether you've understood some of the concepts we'll be mentioning here, like what's data science, what is the difference between data scientist and data analyst, what is the role of a business intelligence specialist. So we're going to give you that quiz, so that now you're able to go through it in your own free time. Yes, it's 9:30, so let's start from what is programming, or to be more specific, what is computer programming? Yeah, so according to most of the articles, most of the books that I've read, I think this definition makes sense to say that computer programming, it is a process. So it's actually a process of writing. I should have used the right word writing, but here they've used the word creating, which is the same. So computer programming process of there's someone with my phone. I don't know how to regulate that one. I'm just adding you. Just check your mics. Okay, thank you. Let me see. Please check your mics. Check your mic. Okay, let me just mute. But I think you're good. Let's just. I think we are okay now. Okay. So what is computer programming? Sorry for that one. So computer programming is the process of writing a set of instructions that a computer can follow to perform a specific task. Okay? So these sets of instructions are written using programming languages, which are the bridge between human beings and machines. So during the skills that I was mentioning, there's an aspect we called human-computer interaction. You are the human being and you have a computer. Now you want to interact with it, give it some instruction. So the process of now giving instructions to the computer is what we call programming, okay? So mainly it's actually the process whereby you are actually converting your instruction from human readable formats to computer readable format. Sometimes your human readable format is what we call a source code. It's what we call a source code. And then computer readable format is what we call a machine code. So it's the process of writing instruction to a computer so that it can perform a specific task. For example, I want to read a data set from Excel tables, or I want to draw a histogram. So that is, the computer will perform that task only when you provide the right instruction, okay? So for us to now be able to write these instructions, we need to learn about programming languages. And these programming languages, as you'll notice later, they will act as a bridge between human beings providing instructions and machines like computers executing those instructions. So what are the key components of programming, if you're following together? So the key components of computer programming, we have the code. So what we call the code, it is the actual instruction that is written in a programming language by a programmer, okay? So the instruction that you're writing is what we call a code. But as you write those instructions, you need to follow a certain procedure or a certain formula. That is actually what we call an algorithm. So an algorithm is a step-by-step procedure or a formula for solving a certain problem. Yeah, for example, let me give you an example. If someone tells you to write an instruction to calculate the area of a rectangle, so this instruction is get the length, get the width, multiply the length by the width, then return the answer. So you need to follow the step. You cannot multiply the length and the width without even getting the length and the width. So an algorithm, something we are going to mention a lot. It is the step-by-step procedure that you are going to follow in solving a certain problem. Now, I've mentioned about source code, which is actually a human readable language, and a machine code, which is so therefore, a compiler, other languages uses an interpreter, actually a tool. So I think I need to mute. Sorry for that. I think I need to mute. Yes, hello. So can you hear me? Sorry. Are you there? Sorry, you can just pass it on the chat, whether you're able to get my, in case you're not able to get my audio, just pass it on the chat. I think I'll follow closely. So I was talking about a compiler or an interpreter. It's actually a tool that will convert your code in a format that computer can understand. In simple terms, we are saying that a compiler is a tool that is used to convert a source code to a machine code. Alternatively, I can also say that a compiler is a tool that will convert an instruction from a human readable format to a computer readable format. So a human readable format, I've said is called a source code, and then a computer readable format is what we call a machine code. Then lastly, as you're doing your computer programming, you will hear most people talking about IDE. So an IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, because the question is, you want to write a code, where do you write this code? You cannot just write it anywhere. You need an environment or a platform where you're going to write the code. And this environment is actually what we call an IDE. So it's actually a software that you can download. Most of them are for free. They are actually specifically designed for you to write and execute programs. I think this should have been, for example, sorry. So for example, The most famous one that I've heard of is a tool called Visual Studio Code. So if you even research on it here, Visual Studio Code, I think it was built by Microsoft, VS Code. Most people call it VS Code. This is an IDE, so you can download it. You can download it, install it, and then automatically now you have an environment where you can write your program, okay? So that is one of it. Another famous one for those people who are doing Java is the one called Eclipse. We also have another one called Sublime Text, another one called Atom. There's PyCharm. So we have so many IDs, and most of them are for free. But now let me be specific. For this course, we are going to use a platform called Jupyter Notebooks. And as you can see, it is what you are going to learn in our next slides. Let me see, sorry. Yeah, so in the next slide, we're going to talk about what is a Jupyter Notebook so that you can understand it very well and be able to write your Python programs on Jupyter Notebooks. So this is the one we are going to use. You can still use VS Code. You can still work with the other platforms like PyCharm, but I highly recommend Jupyter Notebooks. And something you're going to notice is that it is the mostly used tools for data scientists and data analysts. We're going to mention the reason why. But for this one, I just wanted you to understand that we have IDEs, softwares where you write your programs and execute them. Okay. So now that I hope you understand what is programming and some of its components here, there are different types of programming depending on the task that you are doing. So if you want to go into more details about programming, which I want to avoid, but it's good to mention, the programming languages that we have depends on the level. You hear most people talking about low-level programming languages, high-level programming languages, and specialized programming languages. Just to mention something about it, I hope it will not confuse you, is that low-level programming languages, what I can say is that they are not easy to understand. That is something I can mention. They are not easy to understand. The reason being is that they're actually close to a machine code. Most of them, I think they are very, very complex. A good example is assembly language. So for you to understand low-level programming languages, you need to understand details about how computers work. But I'm assuming for this course, we even want people who have never used a computer before, and we want them to start writing programs. And that is the reason why the Python programming languages, the language that you're learning, is actually a high-level language. So a high-level language, in simple definition, it is a language that is English-like, or a language that you don't need to understand much details about computers for you to write the instruction. So this is actually specialized for those people who have knowledge in computing, so that now they can write them. So another good example is machine language that uses the binary system, assembly language that uses I think they're called it uses some kind of specialized tools that now are able to communicate direct to a computer. So these are things that are normally not that friendly, especially if you are a beginner, they are not that friendly. So we will actually focus on high-level languages. We're going to mention them in a while. But also we have specialized languages. So the specialized languages are very easy to use. They are actually specialized for a certain task. A good example is markup language. Markup languages are languages that are specialized to build user interface, like HTML if you want to build websites, XML if you want to build mobile applications, for example, Android. Another specialized language we have is SQL, if you want to interact with databases. Another one that is domain specific is like MATLAB, if you want to do mathematics, R if you want to do data analytics. But I think now R was mainly specialized for data analytics, but it was replaced by Python, okay? So I don't want to go much details here. I just wanted you to mention that we have those type of languages that are low level, high level, and specialized. So let me give you some examples of programming languages, and depending on the task that they have. Sorry there. So the first languages, example of the most popular programming languages we have out there is Python. Python is very, very popular, and it is mainly used for data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and some aspect of web development. And I think we have automation, gaming. So it's a language that is widely used on data analysis, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, data visualization, and so on and so forth. Now, what is the reason for that one? Because Python have the libraries for those kind of tasks. A good example of the most famous libraries that Python have is NumPy for numerical computation, Pandas for data analysis, Matplotlib for data visualization, scikit-learn for machine learning, Keras and PyTorch for deep learning. So if you can even see that the task that we have here is to do data analysis or data science, and that is the main reason why in this course, we are going to learn Python. But let's say you have something else in mind. Let's say you actually want to specialize in web, let's say web development, not even web development, but web application development, where you want to focus on front end and back end. You want to build some systems. Then the language that I would recommend for you is a language we call JavaScript, because it has some libraries like React for front end, Node.js for back end. So are you able to get my audio? Maybe you can confirm on the chat. I'm being told that my audio is somehow not clear. I hope it's okay. Oh yes, thank you. Okay, thank you. So we have, let's say you have, I was talking about maybe you don't want to do data analysis, but you want to learn programming for web application development. Therefore, libraries that are a language that I'll highly recommend for you is JavaScript, because JavaScript comes with libraries like React, Node.js, Express.js, Next.js, Vue.js. These are libraries that have been specialized for building web applications. Another one that is very good is Java. I think we are offering Java in Marshall, because Java, it is a language that has been specialized if you want to build enterprise applications. So if you've heard about the word like ERP, enterprise resource planning applications. For example, management system. You want to build a system to manage a school. You want to build a system to manage an hospital, or you want to build a system to manage a circle. Then I think the most preferred language there is Java. And also Java was widely used for building Android applications. So a good library that Java has for enterprise application is Spring Boot here, okay? Yeah, another good language that I also like is a language that we call C++. Well, this language is mainly specialized for game development, and to build game development like PS5, not FIFA, sorry, and system softwares. Let's say you want to build a software like VS Code. or you want to build a software like for graphic design. So the language that is specifically designed for that one is C++. Some of the libraries that are very famous is something like the Ghost, Foley, STL. So based on that one in mind, the task that we have is for data analysis, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. That is what we want to do. Therefore, we will actually be tackling Python for this course. So I hope you'll mark that one as complete. In case you have a question, you'll also be passing it on the chat, or you can actually have it as a discussion here. Yeah, so mark it as complete. And then we tackle, so let me go next. Yes, here. Now, like we've mentioned, Python is the most popular language for data science and data analysis. The reason is why. The reason is why. Actually, not the reason, but the question is why. So what I can mention here is that Python has become the most popular language for data science due to some of the reasons, like it is simple. So because this language is very simple, it can attract so many people from different backgrounds. Because during our orientation, we mentioned that data science is actually a course that covers different professions. You can be someone from marketing, you can be someone who is doing teaching, or you can be someone who is doing finance. So all these professionals are attracted to this course. Therefore, we pick a language that is simple for everyone to understand. And that's the reason why Python became dominant, because it's simple, it's versatile, which means that it has a lot of libraries and tools that will enable you to run those kind of tasks. Therefore, with Python, as you'll notice later, it will allow data scientists to effectively manipulate data, as you'll see, which is very, very easy to do. You're able to use Python to perform complex computation. If I'm talking about complex computation, we are talking about mathematics. Let's say you want to do matrices, you want to interact with vectors. These are very complex, but Python has actually made them very, very easy to do. And also Python is very, very popular for creating visualization from data. You want to design scatter plots, you want to design line plots. So Python, I think, is the most popular tool that you can use for those kind of tasks here. So some more reasons we have is that this language, it's very easy to learn and use. And that is something you're going to appreciate later, because Python comes with a simple syntax. So syntax is the rule of writing a language. How do you write this language? And something you're going to see in a short while actually is that Python syntax resembles English. And because English is the widely used spoken language, most people are able to understand it. So therefore, if we can have a language that is resembling English, then it can actually attract a lot of people. So therefore, it's easy for actually beginners. If you're a beginner and maybe you're worried that this is programming, I'm so scared, I think this is the language that actually will now break that barrier for you, so that now you can start running these data analytics and data science projects. So it's very easy to learn and very, very easy to use effectively. So another good reason why Python is the popular language for data science is that it has a lot of libraries. I think I've been mentioning that one sometimes, and frameworks. Like, for example, if you want to do data manipulation, there is a library called Pandas. So if I search here Pandas, I think, let me even share the link here. So you see, this is the library that is normally used for data manipulation and data analysis. And this library is actually built from Python. So I'm going to share on the chat. someone wants to go through it earlier, but we're going to learn it in more details later. For numerical computation, the one we were calling complex computation, there is a library called NumPy. So if you search here NumPy, it is actually a Python library that is specifically designed for mathematical computations. You want to do calculus, you want to do linear algebra, then this is the language that is highly recommended for you. I think, let me say, we have, if you want to interact with dimensional arrays. So dimensional arrays are the vectors and matrices. You want to do linear algebra. So basically mathematics. This is actually the tool that we are going to learn intensively in this course. So I can even share the link for you in case you want to check it out earlier as you prepare later, so you're going to check on it later. We have Matplotlib, is one of my favorite. If you want to do data visualization, for example, you want to draw a hist plot, or you want to draw an histogram, you want to draw a pie chart from data so that you can summarize it. This is the language, this is the tool that we are going to learn intensively. It's actually a comprehensive library for creating static, animated, and interactive visualization in Python. So you're being told that you need to understand Python so that now you can start using it. So it's very easy and makes hard things possible. There's a point I used to imagine, how can I create a histogram from data? You can imagine, looks hard. But with this kind of library, that one is very, very possible. There is a lot of graphs that we build here. And I think this should be a very, very interesting session for us. So for those who want to check it out earlier, I'm sharing those links here. I've shared Pandas, I've shared NumPy, I've shared Matplotlib, where you can be getting the documentations you want to. From there, let's see the other one. Yes, scikit-learn. Yesterday, I was even having a conversation with a friend, and he was even asking me, how do you train a machine to learn? What we are calling machine learning. Is it possible to train a machine to learn from data? That is very easy. And that is something you're going to see when we'll be tackling scikit-learn, which is actually a machine learning tool that it was designed in Python. So we'll be talking about, it is very simple and efficient for predictive analysis. So machine learning, like I mentioned, it focuses on predictions. You want to predict the future. I want to predict the weather tomorrow. So this is the language that we're going to learn. We'll be talking about what is classification. We'll be talking about what is regression. We'll be talking about what is clustering. So because these are the machine learning components that we have. So if you want to start checking it out earlier, maybe you're already familiar with Python, then these are the tools that you're going to use. So you can even get started here, get to know how it works. But I think during this lesson, we're going to make things clearer for you as we move ahead. So let me share this library with you and so many other ones. I don't think we have time to explore all these libraries. So that is the main reason why we are saying that Python is very, very rich in libraries that are used in data science and data analytics. So another good reason why we need to learn Python here is that Python have a good community support. Therefore, we have extensive online resources. And this is even making it more easier to find help or to find tutorials. There are languages to which we don't have community. They are very hard to do. A good language is assembly. Not most people understand assembly. So if you get a problem, getting help is not easy. But with Python, which most people understand it, so and we have a very good community, you're able to find help or to find tutorials to understand it. It's also, you are able to integrate Python with other tools like SQL. Because let's say you want to get data from a database. Databases are built using SQL. So you can integrate Python and SQL so that you can read data from a database. You can even integrate Python with R. You can integrate Python with a tool that we call Spark if you want to start building big data application, enabling seamless data workflow. I think this is most of the work that is done by data engineers. And Python is the most popular language for running automation and scalable projects. So I think the diagram that are displayed here, I think it only has the libraries showing that are mainly used in data science and data analysis application. I've mentioned about NumPy, the SciPy if you want to do scientific processing, like signal processing. I've mentioned about pandas. I've mentioned about matplotlib. I didn't mention about TensorFlow, but TensorFlow is a library that is designed for artificial neural network application. So I think this is something we will be clarifying later, but after understanding the actual language. So advantages, it is cross-platform. So if I'm saying cross-platform, is that you can use Python in almost all the operating system we have. If you're using Windows, it's good with Windows. If you're using Linux, it's even better with Linux. If you're using Mac, it's even good to work with Python on Mac system. So you can use it in any operating system you want. Unlike other languages, like I think there's a language like C#. It's a language like C#. And this is a language that is specifically designed for building desktop applications. I'm not sure, but I don't think you can use C# in a Linux platform, okay? Therefore, Python is cross-platform. Therefore, you're able to use it in almost any operating system that you have. This language is open source. So you'll hear me mentioning the word open source. So if you hear the word open source, it's any tool that is freely available. So Python is free. You don't have to pay for Python. It is free and it is evolving every now and then. So versatile means that you can use Python for different purposes. So you can use it for building web application as well, web development, because there are tools like Flask and Django. You can use it for automation. You can also use it for data-driven projects. So that is the main reason why for this course, we first have to go through Python. So that now we are ready to work with these kind of tools. So now from there, I think you can mark that one as complete. Later, you'll be having some quizzes on that one, just to test your knowledge on these concepts that you're mentioning here. So I had mentioned somewhere about integrated development environment. And I said that integrated development environment is the tool or the software that you use to write your code. So for this program, for this course, specifically, we are going to use Jupyter Notebooks. So the question is, let me show you how it looks like. A Jupyter Notebooks looks this way, here. So to define it, let's define it here. So a Jupyter Notebook is an open source. So if you hear the word open source, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. Web-based application that allows users to create and share document that contains live code, it contains equations, it contains visualization, and some text. So this is the tool. As you'll hear, most data scientists are using it. So it is the widely used data in data science, machine learning, and scientific research. So this is actually the tool that we are going to use. And I wanted us to understand it before we start. So some of the key features that it has is that it is interactive coding environment, unlike other platforms like Visual Studio Code, because now it will allow you to write code and run it in a cell-based structure for easier debugging. So let me show you that one here. You write your code here, you get your output here. So this will even give you an opportunity to debug your code in a more easily manner. So that is one advantage we have with Jupyter Notebooks. It has a lot of annotation, which is very good if you want to do your documentation. So Jupyter Notebook supports text formatting using aspect called Markdown. So allowing you to integrate, so you're able to combine text, headings, images, lists.
Hello, Mr. Eric. We cannot hear you.
Yes, hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I think I lost my audio. Just confirm. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can
Thank
hear
you for
you.
being patient.
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you
so I
now.
lost. Thank you. So I had lost my audio. I think I notified you on the chat. I wasn't aware, but now I hope I'm back. So let's now proceed. I was talking about the Jupyter Notebook environment, and I was saying that is the environment that is widely used for data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence projects. I was also explaining about the reasons for that one. I had mentioned that it's actually interactive coding environment. That is something you're going to say. This IDE, let me just call it IDE. It is very rich in annotations, whereby you are able to combine your codes and some of the markdowns like text, so that now you can explain. Remember, we need to have a skill of data storytelling, whereby we are communicating our insight to non-technical individuals or audiences. So to do that one, Jupyter Notebook will be very, very useful for that one, because you're able to combine a code with some text to actually explain or describe the codes that you are writing, because people don't understand the codes that you are writing, but people can understand the insights that you are getting. Okay. So this library, as you'll see, it's the best you can use for data visualization. It can even draw very nice dashboards using Python. So you can use it to deploy plots like charts, using the libraries that I mentioned, the Matplotlib and Seaborn. So you can code and output all together. So it combines codes, its output, and explanation in one document, making it suitable for creating comprehensive reports, especially for those people who are doing data analytics. Your output is mostly reports that are presented to non-technical stakeholders. So you need to have some kind of reports. So if you want to compile these reports, then Jupyter Notebooks is something you can use. This is also very interesting. Unlike VS Code and other platforms like Eclipse, Jupyter Notebooks will allow you to actually make your code portable and easy to share to stakeholders. So because as you write your codes, they are actually saved as .ipynb. It stands for the Interactive Python Notebooks, which are actually files that can be exported in formats like HTML and PDF for easy sharing. So that's the main reason why for this platform, we'll actually work with Jupyter Notebooks. So some of the use case of Jupyter Notebook is mainly used for data analysis and data visualization. So if you are a data analyst, I'm very, very aware that you've actually worked with Jupyter Notebook. For you, if you want to do the exploratory data analysis that have the dynamic visualization, anyone doing machine learning or AI projects, it's the best platform you can work. Like for myself, I will be using it to teach, and you'll see how effective this tool is used to actually have some demonstrations and so on and so forth. And also, it's actually a good library for documentation. Like I was talking about, you've actually have data, you've analyzed data, and now you want to release a report of the insights that you have. Yeah, so to get this kind of reports, this library is the best you can now use to document your work. Okay. If you want to see how it looks this way. I want you to see this is the code cell, but we're going to learn it in a short while. This is the code cell. You click on this one, you get your output. And this output, you can now document it here using the markdown. You can add a video, you can add a link. I will just demonstrate. You can add a link. You can add some text titles here, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so like for example, example, this is the code. You have read your data set. You have read your data set and you want to display it for people to see. You're able to display it here using the Jupyter Notebook environment. So this is actually one of the best that you're going to use. So now the question is, I want you to mark it as complete. I want you to mark it as complete. One big disadvantage, which has been there for some time, install Jupyter Notebook in your laptops or your desktop is not easy. It's actually work. It's actually a lot of work is done for you to install Jupyter Notebooks in your environment. If you have it, that is better. But if you don't, I don't think we are able to do it, all of us here today, because it's very, very hectic and you need to download tools like, there's a tool we call Anaconda. There's a tool we call Anaconda Navigator. You first need to download this tool. If you want to install it, that is, you can download this tool called Anaconda Navigator. You download it, you install it, and then from there you can use it to launch Jupyter Notebook, which is actually a lot of work, especially for non-technical guys. This one is proving to be a lot of work, and for that reason, we have opted to use an online version Jupyter Notebook. So you don't need to download anything, you don't need to install anything, you don't need to go through that hassle, because there is an online version of Jupyter Notebook that we normally call Google Colabs. So I think that we can go back. There's somewhere we had skipped. Let's mark this one as complete. Let's mark it as complete. So there is an online alternative of Jupyter Notebook. Let's go back there, because now we want to start we want to now start going practical. So the online alternative for Jupyter Notebook is what we had mentioned earlier called the Google Colab. Let's open it up again. Google Colab here. Google Colab. So Google Colab, in short, it stands for the Google Collaboratory. This one here. It's a free, let's see, free cloud-based platform. Cloud-based platform is a platform that is provided in the internet by Google. And I say it's provided by Google that allows users to write and execute Python code in an interactive notebook environment. So I want you to imagine if you have Google Colab, then you're using your notebook environment online. So long as you have internet, that is it. So it is very popular for data science, machine learning, and AI projects. So in simple terms, what I was saying is that Google Colab, it's an online Jupyter Notebook. So you don't have to download anything in your computer today. You just have to go direct and write your codes online. Why is it popular compared to the local one? So the local one, like I mentioned, you need to download this tool so that now you can launch a Jupyter Notebook there. So if those people want to use the local environment, then you can work with this one here. You download it, and then you launch the Jupyter Notebook in a local environment, which I can say honestly is a lot of work. It's actually a lot of work. So the advantages for this is that, especially if you're doing now the big projects like the large language models, so it's actually free to access graphical processing unit and the tensor processing unit. So it provides free hardware acceleration. I want you to imagine you'll be using GPUs from Google or tensor processing units that are designed by Google. So this one will make it easy and suitable for computationally intensive tasks. Okay. Another reason why this is very popular, is very interesting for me, is that it is cloud-based. So because it is cloud-based, there is no need to install any software in your computer. because this notebook will be actually running on Google server. So it's actually accessible in your web browser, which I highly recommend. If you are working with Google Chrome, then that is the best you can use, Google Chrome. But you can even use it with Microsoft Edge or the Mozilla Firefox. So there is no need to install anything today. We'll actually run these notebooks on Google server. Now, this is even the most interesting one, is that you can actually integrate Google Colab with your Google Drive. Therefore, any code that you write in Google Colab will be automatically saved in your Google Drive. So this will allow easy file management and sharing. Okay, you can write, you can actually write any code here and save it in your drive. Then you can access it anywhere else that you want, because anytime you access the Google Colab, your work is automatically saved in your drive. Like I mentioned, just like Jupyter Notebook, it is interactive. Therefore, it will support a code execution in Python. It will allow you to write the markdown. So if I'm talking about markdown, is text, images, audios, links, and the rest. And it is rich in text, similar to Jupyter Notebook. And it actually have additional Google services integration, like Google Gemini. So it is a library that, so it comes with libraries that are used in data intensive tasks. You don't need to install NumPy, you don't need to install Pandas, you don't need to install Matplotlib, because so long as you're working with Google Colab here, automatically it comes with pre-installed libraries like TensorFlow for deep learning, uh, Pandas for data analysis, NumPy for numerical computations, and therefore it supports loading data sets and all the other tasks that you have. So this, in short, these are some of the benefits. There's no need to set up. It is free on the cloud. You can actually share your code, so you can collaborate. And then it is actually having Google system integration in such a way that now you can integrate it in your Google Drive, your Google Sheets, yeah, then other Google tools. So Google Colabs looks this way. This is how it looks like. And now we want to go to a class practice. So I hope you're ready now. I know some of you have been waiting for this one. So let's do a class practice. I hope it will be a happy coding, where we want to develop a Google Colab environment, because that is the environment that we'll be using for data science and data analysis application. So our main goal in this class practice is, I hope you'll be able to set up your Google Colab. So one requirement I need is here, you need to have a Gmail account. You need to have a Gmail account. A Gmail account is like your email address. So that is one requirement we need for you to set up Google Colab. So if you don't have a Gmail account, make sure the browser you're using has your Gmail account here. Like this is my Gmail account here. Make sure it's here. So if you don't have it, you can just click on this tab here. It is on the top right. I hope you can see where I'm clicking. And then you log in here with your Gmail account. Okay. Make sure it's your Gmail account so that we can access your Google Drives to save your work in your Google Drive. So if this is not your profile, then you can add your profile, so that all the time you're using Google Colab, always this is your account. So we are able to access your drive. So that is what we want to do in the class practice. Then after doing that one, we'll actually go ahead and understand the Google Colab environment today. We want to understand the components. How do you add a code? How do you add a text? How do you add an image? And so on and so forth. And then also now, this will now be an opportunity for us today to write and execute our first Python program on Google Colab. So we want to do that one today. We also want to understand, how do you write, how do you document the program that you've written in a Google Colab environment? And I want you to imagine you are actually, it's like you're writing a report of what you are doing so that non-technical guys can understand your work. And then lastly, how do you upload an image? How do you upload a data set in a Google Colab environment? So let's go there. If this is ready for us, now we'll now dive into the actual programming by exploring now what is a variable. So let's have happy coding. So to start us off, please let me know if this is not your account. Anyone who is using a machine that you don't have your account here, make sure this is your account here. That is the first requirement I need for you. In case you don't have that one, let me see the chat for someone who is not with me. So I hope this is your account, and I've explained the reason is that we need to access your account so that any code that you write, we save it in your Google Drive. And for us to access your Google Drive, we need your Google account, your Gmail address here. Okay. So if this is okay, I think majority is okay. Here, I want you to open a new tab. Just open a new tab. Just open a new tab here, like that one. So I've opened a new tab. Then on the Google tab here, on this address bar, I want you to type Google Colab. Just type the word Google Colab. It's like you're searching for the platform. Google Colab, like that one. Then you hit enter, just hit enter, like that one. So it is always the first result you get. So the link is normally colab.google.com. Okay. So that is the first link that pops up. Is what I'm hoping you're going to click. So I hope you're there. I hope I'm not very fast. I think this is our first class practice that we're doing now together. Click on the Google Colab. As you can see, you later be able to access the Jupyter notebooks that you are talking about. But I want you to click here. Just click here. If you click on this link, then this is the platform that I've been mentioning, normally called the Google Collaboratory. It is a service, like I was even talking about, it is hosted on Google that requires no setup to use, and will provide you with free access to computing resources like the graphical processing unit and the tensor processing unit. So this platform that you're seeing here, it is very, very well suited for you to start doing machine learning, data science, or you want to learn anything to do with data without doing any installations. So if you're there, I think these are some of the documentation that they have if you want to understand the environment here. Are you there? So you have two options. I want you to show you both of the options. You can either open a notebook. That means that you are opening a notebook that was saved in your drive. Like for example, yesterday I was doing some coding. It will actually open the latest code I wrote. Like yesterday, it was around 1 p.m. I was actually writing SAS. You see, this is my drive. You see, this is actually my Google Drive. So all these are the codes that I've been doing. And all the work that I've been doing have been saved on my Google Drive. So I can always access my work anywhere, anytime. And this is what I was talking about, collaboratory. You're able to access your code anywhere, anytime. And you see, and I can even, let me even show you something interesting. The first code I wrote in Google Colab was, let's say, I think it was around 2019, yes. I think 2019, can you see? All this work that I've been doing, I've been always saved in my drive. So I can never lose my project. That is the beauty of Google Colab.
But now today, I don't want us to open the drive. I think I will have to restart it. I don't want us to open the drive. I want us to create a new notebook together so that now we can understand this Google Colab environment, and it will be a platform that we are going to also to learn about Jupyter Notebook. So with that one in mind, I want you to open a new notebook. Open a new notebook here. That one. So it will load, taking some few minutes, setting up everything for you direct from Google servers. Your work is now to write the codes. This is actually how it looks like. Are you there? Anyone who is getting a challenge, I hope you will pass it on the chat. But I've not seen any, so I think we are good. Anyone getting a challenge? Yeah, so I hope it's okay. This is how it looks like. So if you're there, then I think this is a very good milestone. At least now, today, we have a coding environment. So if you want to increase the size, you can press Control, then plus, like we can say. If you want to reduce the size, you can press Control minus, like that one, Control plus. If you want to view it clearly, Control plus, Control minus if you want to reduce the font. So I hope you're able to see it there. I hope you're able to see it there. I hope you're able to see it there. Okay. So now, first thing first, just like we had promised, for this class practice, we want to sorry, what is our objective here? Yes, the first one is done. The first one is done. We have our Gmail account, and now we are able to set up Google Colab. And I hope everyone now has Google Colab here. This is the environment I was talking about. Our second objective for this class practice was to understand, now this is very interesting, the Google Colab environment. So you're going to understand each and every component in the Google Colab. Then later now we'll actually write our first program, we write our first markdown. Then we are going to talk about how do you apply some of the resources on the Google Colab environment. So let's go there. If you have this environment, the first thing you do is to name the project that you're doing. So remember the file is normally saved with this extension called the .ipynb, Interactive Python Notebook. It's a notebook. So please don't remove the word .ipynb. You just have to replace the name here. Okay, so we can give it a name. We can call it, we are learning, what are we learning? So we are learning Python for, just give it a name, for data science. And then now we are talking about, we can even give it an hyphen. We are talking about Google Colab. So nice. So now if you want to see the work we did today, you'll just go to your drive and access this file called Python for Data Science, Google Colab. Automatically, it will be saved with the date today. So they are normally saved based on the date and time. So this one will be saved on, I don't know, today's 14th at 10:31 a.m. if you're using the East Africa time. Yeah, so yeah. So that is the first thing you do. You have to name the work. Let's say this could be, you want to do KCSE result analysis, or you want to do sales marketing analysis, or you want to do financial analysis, or you want to do machine learning, or you want to do linear regression. So the kind of project you're doing, you have to give it a name here so that now you're able to locate it later. So that is the first thing you do. I hope you're there. In case you get a challenge, let me know. Now, if you have given it a name, I want to first talk about the main platform here. The main platform here. We have two types of components you can add. You can either add a code, what you're seeing here, or you can add a text. So a code is where you write a code. A text is where you add a markdown. So if you click on the text, you are able to now document on the code that you're writing. So that is something very interesting. I'm able to explain what I'm doing in my environment. If you want to remove it, you can work with this trash symbol here. You can now delete the cell and still remain now with your code cell here. So that is very important. We can be always adding a code cell and a text cell. Apart from that one, there is even a side menu. Let me call it a sidebar. Yeah, sidebar. So if you click on the sidebar, there are even more components here. You can search an item, you can add an equation, you can access your drive. But the mostly used one here is this icon here, where you are able to access files here, this one here, where you are able to access files in your Google Drive. So the last option here, which is this one that is labeled files. So these files I'm talking about could be a data set, like a file from Excel. You want to analyze your sales data. So you can just upload the sales data to your drive, then you can access it here so that now we can upload it to our coding environment here. Okay, so we'll be using this one a lot. You can see, because this is my Gmail address I'm using here, so it is able to access my Google Drive disk here, down there. So able to access my Google Drive here. So I want to close that one. Alternatively, there is the top menu here where we have the file. So in file, you can locate a file in the drive. We can create a new notebook, we can open, we can rename, we can move it, we can save the copy. But the most interesting one is here. Remember we were talking about with Google Colab, you're able to share your work. So you can actually download it as an interactive Python notebook or as a Python file. Alternatively, you can also print it as a PDF document. You see, now it's even ready to write a report for your work. So let's say someone wants to generate a report from the Google Colab. It's very, very easy, so long as you just click on the print. Just go to File, and then you click on Print, and then you generate it as a PDF. You can generate it in more options like, yes, we have PDF. I think most of them are PDF, and so on and so forth. So I hope now you've understood that environment. So now we want to write our first Python program, because that was the third objective. Let's write our first Python program here. Okay, now let's write it together. Let's write it together. So because we are writing a Python program, we have to go to a code cell. This is what we call a code cell. I want you to be there and then write the following code. Then you're going to explain what it does. So I hope you're there. I hope you're there. So I want you to type exactly what I'm typing here, because it's our first ever Python program, but we are going to explain what it does. So I want you to write the word print. And remember, the word print, it is in lowercase. Without a space, I want you to have a bracket here, like that one. That is good. This is a code, actually. This is a program that we want to explain what it does. So you just type the word print in lowercase, and then without a space. If I'm saying without a space, please don't have a space here. Without a space here, like that one. Just have the brackets here. Are you there? Are you there? If you are there, now I want you to run this code here. So if you want to see an output of this is actually a Python program. We're going to explain what it does later. If you want to see the output of this code, we can always click on this icon here. This, I don't know what it's called, this tab here, this one here. So if you click on this one here, it is actually an option to run the cell. Let's do it. So it's actually trying to execute, and it has actually executed and is not seeing any output here. Understand? Now let's go back to our print statement. Let's go back to our print statement. Now I want you to get inside the brackets here. Let's go inside the brackets here, like that one. Let's go inside the brackets, and then please type any number. Let's type any number. Let's type any number. Let's say I want to type the date today. So we are in 2025. Okay, so I've typed anything inside the print statement here. So this will be very, very useful later. So let's just go together. And then we click on run the code cell again. Let's do that one. Wow, now we're able to see the output here. So I want us to get what we are trying to do here. Initially, we typed print without anything. We never saw anything here, remember? But now we've used print and typed any number here, and now we are seeing an output here. Let's even do one more. Let's do one more. Press enter. Press enter to go to a new line. I want us to type print again. Print again. Let's say I want to type 2 plus 2. Let's type that one. So remember, we have the 2 lines of code. The first line of code is printing the word, it's printing the number 2025. The other line of code is printing the number 2 plus 2. So let's now click this code cell again. I hope you're seeing the first operation, it printed 2025. The next operation, it printed the answer of 2 plus 2, which is actually 4. Let's proceed one more. Let's do one more. Let's proceed. Let's do one more. So let's also try print. Let's also try print. Let's try 2. Let's try 10. You subtract 8. 10 you subtract 8. So then 10 you subtract 8. So now we have the 3 lines of code. We have the first line of code printing 2025, the year. We have the next line of code printing the answer we get after adding 2 plus 2, which we got is 4. And the other line of code is printing the answer we get after, let's see what we get after subtracting 8 from 10. Let's see, we are getting 2. So this is actually a program. So a program, like we said, is a set of instructions that performs a specific task. So the first one, I just wanted to display the number 2025. I got it here. The next operation, I wanted to add 2 plus 2. I got 4. The other operation, I wanted to subtract 8 from 10. Now I'm getting 2. Like that one. So I hope you're also getting the same. In case you are getting any challenge, please let me know. So this is the main reason why this is normally called a Jupyter notebook. The reason is that it is an interactive environment whereby you write a code here, you get your output here. So it is actually interactive. I write a code here, I get my answer here. Unlike other platforms whereby you write a code here, you get an output, I don't know, somewhere else. You don't know where. Okay, it's now very not easy to understand what is happening. But with the Jupyter notebook, you're able to understand that this is the code I've written, this is the output I've written, this is the result I'm getting here. Okay, Let's try to do a multiplication. Let's try to do a multiplication so that now we are all of us together. Then we are going to explain what we are trying to do here later. So let's try to do a multiplication operation. What if I want to multiply 50? So remember, I don't have a multiplication sign, but I can work with this sign that we call asterisk. That one. I want to multiply 50 by 3. So that is what we call an asterisk. And asterisk will help us do multiplication. Let's see whether we get this output. So make sure you work with an asterisk. So if you want to get an asterisk, then you have to shift, then you press number 8 in your keyboard. Shift, then you press number 8 in your keyboard. So let's run this one. I hope I'm getting 150 because I've given this computer an instruction. I'm now a programmer, so I'm giving this computer an instruction to multiply 50 by 3. Okay, so if I run it here, let's hope I'm getting 150. So computers are very fast and they're very accurate. Okay, let's try even a multiplication. Let's try a multiplication, the last one. I hope now by doing this one now, I hope everyone is able to understand what we are trying to do here. So I want to print. So just remember, the word print even talks about, I want to display. To print is to display the results of multiplying 50 by 3 in a notebook. Okay, let's try a division. So I want to divide 100, but now I don't have a division sign. So what I can use is, I hope this is a forward slash. Is it a forward slash? You work with the forward slash. So I want to multiply 100 by 4. So if you want to get a forward slash, I think it's, I hope you're able to get it. If you're not able, let me know on the chat. This is called a forward slash. If I'm not wrong, it's a forward slash. So if I run this one, finally, I am getting my answer as 25.0. So me as a developer or as programmer, what I'm normally doing, I'm using a programming language like Python to provide a set of instructions that tells computer what to do. So these are sets of instructions. The first instruction, print the word 25. The other instruction, add 2 plus 2. The next one, subtract 8 from 10. The other one, multiply 50 by 3. And then here now divide 100 into 4 pieces, so you get 25. So if you're getting a challenge, I will share this one on the chat so that you can just copy and paste it in your Colab environment. But of this one, I hope everyone is fine. I hope everyone is fine. So sorry, I didn't see that one. So I've shared that code. Now you can just copy and paste it. So that is the code that you've been writing. These are codes. Let's do some more so that now it even make much more sense to us. Makes much more sense to us. So I'm done with this part. I don't want to do more calculations here in this code cell here. I want to do the other calculation in another code cell. Okay? In another code cell. What should I do? I should go to the top bar here and add a code cell. Let's do that one. Here. So let's go to the top bar here and add a code cell. So go to plus code. Then a new code cell will be added below the first one. So this is independent to the first one here. I want you to see how this platform is very, very interactive and very, very interesting to use, as you'll be seeing later. Now let's proceed with our work. Now, I don't want to do numbers anymore. I want to work with some text. Here I was dealing with some numbers. But now here I want to work with some text. I want this computer to display my name. Okay, let's try that one. Let's try that one. So to display anything, I think we're going to explain that one in a short while. I want us to print. Then put a bracket as usual, and make sure that the print is in lowercase and we don't have a space here. We're going to explain everything now together after doing here, because you first have to do it, then explain what we are doing later, okay? So I was dealing with some numbers. Now I want to deal with some text here. So remember, one thing that you'll notice with programs is that text is made of combination of characters. You are actually combining characters together to form a text. So that's something we are going to mention as strings. So a text is a combination of characters. So like my name, Eric, let's make an error here first. Like my name, Eric Otieno, has combined several characters together, okay? It has combined several characters together. Like here I have how many characters? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including a space, which is also a character, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 characters. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Let's get our first error. It's good to get an error. Let's see what happens. So if I try to run this one now, as you can see, things are not right here. If I try to run this one now, this is not right. I will get an error. I'm told that this is an invalid syntax. So later we are going to explain what is a syntax. Okay, what is a syntax? A syntax is basically a rule that governs a programming language. How are you writing this language? Are you following the grammar for this language, just like English? So to answer this question, or to solve this error, here, the simple terms I can say is that you cannot treat numbers the same way you're treating text. The reason being is that texts are different from numbers because texts are made in a sequence of characters. So what should I do to achieve this one? Because this is a text, all these characters must be inside double or single quotation marks, so that now I'm able to treat them as a single text. Let me show you what I mean. So this is wrong. This is wrong. So let's do it in a better way. Because I'm dealing with the text, I need to enclose it inside some double quotation marks, like this one here now, because now I'm dealing with the text. And now inside the double quotation marks, I can now provide my text. Let's see whether this one now would work. So you see, even the coloring is different. The numbers are labeled as green, the texts are labeled as red, to show us that now we are dealing with two different types of data here. So like this is my name, Eric. Now let's see whether I'm still getting the error. And now looks like it works. So there's something we are noticing here together is that, so as much as you're doing programming, you don't treat numbers the same way you treat text. Okay? With numbers, we can just work with them, and you see they were working very well. But with text, we have to keep in mind that these are the characters in a sequence. Therefore, they need to have some quotation to show where the characters started and where the characters ended. And that is the main reason why in almost all programming languages we have, including JavaScript, including Java, anytime you're interacting with a text, you make sure that you put it inside a double quotation mark. Okay, so let's try some more now. Now that you're getting it, so I want us to print. So that is Google Gemini giving me some suggestion. I want to print. Let's say you can print the city you're in. Let's print the city you're in. So like for me, I'm in Nairobi. Kenya. Yeah. So the word Nairobi, comma, space, Kenya are characters. Therefore, because they are characters and you want to treat it as one, we have to show where the characters sequence started and the character sequence ended. So if I run this one now, I have two sets of instructions. The first instruction is to print my name. The next instruction is to display my location. Let's see whether that one would work. If I write it this way, you see now it's able to display that I'm currently in Nairobi, Kenya. So this is what I'm talking about, an interactive coding environment. Any question up to there? So we can try one more. Let's try one more. Let's print the course we are doing. If you're doing data science, you can just print data science. If you're doing data analytics, you can print data analytics. I'm saying I am pursuing data analytics. Or maybe I'm pursuing machine learning, I'm pursuing data science, I'm doing business intelligence, and so on and so forth. So if you run this one, just to show you that numbers, text are two different types of data. So you as a software developer or a data scientist or a programmer, you need to treat them as two different types of data. If you're dealing with numbers, we don't need the quotation marks. They are basically numbers. We can do some arithmetics. We can add them. We can do subtraction. We can do multiplication. We can do divisions. If you're interacting with the text, probably you want to display them. Make sure they have double quotation marks. So in case you're getting a challenge there, I can share this code with you. Then you can make your modifications there. So where should I upload it? I can upload it. Yes, someone had uploaded something I didn't see. So I'm uploading this one here. Perfect. So any question there? I think there are some chats, I'm not seeing them. Any question up to there? Any question up to there? So now, in the next phase now, we want to explain what we've done. So definitely we are going to use, do I need to save the code? You don't need to save the code, you just need to run it. I was not seeing those questions, sorry. Now I'm able to see them. You don't need to save the code, you just need to run it. I can see it's all clear. Anyone with an issue now there? So it's okay. You don't need to save it, you just have to write your code in a code cell, run it and see your notebook output here, Jupyter notebook. So this is the output of this code here. Now let's talk about Markdown, because that was our that objective. Writing, writing Markdown notes on the Colab. The main reason for writing Markdowns is to now explain to the non-technical guys, what are you doing? I want to imagine you are now interacting with the manager or a director. Let's say you're presenting your work to board of directors. Now they want to understand, what have you done? You are telling us that in this year KCSE, you've written a code here that demonstrates that in this year KCSE, Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, girls were the majority. That is the code. Now explain to us what you are getting. So that is the main now reason why we need now to talk about Markdowns. And Jupyter Notebook is the most favorite platform whereby you can write a code here, get an output here. This could be the insight you're getting, and then explain to non-technical guys what you're getting. So let's talk about Markdown. Let's talk about Markdown. And now we can do some more interesting code stuff from here. This is just an introductory part. So like I had mentioned earlier, if you want to have a Markdown, now you don't have to add a code cell. You need to add a text that will accompany the results that you're getting to explain to non-technical guys what you've done. I'm assuming maybe you understand what you've done here, but other people are not understanding what we are doing. So now let's do the data storytelling. So let's add a text here. Let's add a text here. Let's add a text here. Like that one. Now, this is just a normal text. This is just a normal text where I can now explain what I've done there. So let's try to do the explanation together. So if you want to add a heading, you start with hash. So let's say I put hash and then say writing. So make sure you have a space. Writing first Python program. I hope you're seeing the output here. So now we are explaining what we are doing. So if you want a header, you start with an hash. So if you put one hash, it is the biggest heading for your report. If you want to have a subheading in your Markdown, you can actually add another hash here. So it will make it a bit smaller. I want you to see. I've added 2 hash. It's even now becoming smaller. If I add another hash, it's even getting smaller. So now the biggest heading, I will go with the first hash. The subheading, I will go with the another hash. Subheading in that order. So even the smallest one is 4 hash, like that one. So I hope that one is making sense to you. I think we can go with 2 hash. Let's go with the 2 hash. Now let's explain what we've done above here, so that even non-technical guys can understand today what we've done. So let's do that one together. I want you to imagine now you are elaborating your work. You are giving the reports to the stakeholders. So I can even say now, in the above program, the program that you're seeing there, we have, sorry for that one. Yeah, I think we're good. We have interacted with the print statement. So let's talk about that one. We have interacted with a print. We have interacted with a print statement. Yeah. So how does it look like? We have interacted with the print statement. So the print statement is the one that we wrote, the first one. This one here. We were saying you write print, then you put, let me put it in double quotes. Yeah, this one here. So we've been talking about, sorry, what's happening? I'm very slow. I hope some are faster than me. So you can say print, then I put some bracket like that one. That is the print statement. So now we can explain here. Let's put a full stop. It is a command. It is a Python command. So it is a Python command. It is a Python command that is used to display let me just call them objects to the user, to display objects. I'm looking for the good name, to display objects, or let me just say, or results. And just call them objects to the users. Yeah. So that is the print statement. It is a command in Python. Anytime you say print, then definitely you want to display something to the user. Okay. Now let's even go further. We have also noticed that while dealing with numbers, while dealing with numeric objects, numeric objects, while dealing with numeric objects, we don't need quotation marks. We don't need quotation marks. And also, we can perform arithmetic operations to them. We can perform arithmetic operations to them. I think that is what we've done here. We were dealing with numerical objects. We never needed quotation marks, but we were also able to add them. We can do addition, we can do subtraction, we can do multiplication, we can also do division operations. Now let's go to the next one. Sorry, I think I can now, if I want to, I've done it now. This is actually how it looks like. Let's add the last one. Let's add the last one now. Let's add the last one. But in the case of text objects, let me add the last one. But in the case of text, or let me just say textual objects, which I can even further explain, which are made, what's happening, which are made of sequence of characters. Sequence of characters. I'm sure it will be mentioned that anytime you're dealing with the text, you have different characters that are made in a certain sequence. We now need to enclose them inside double quotation marks. Why do we need that one? To specify the start and the end of the character sequence. Full stop. Now even an untechnical guy can understand what I did there. And this is what I was talking about. If I want now to see the output, I just need to double click on it. And now an untechnical guy can understand what we've done here. He can understand that in this first program that we've written today, we have only interacted with a print statement. So a print statement is actually a command that we use. Let me give you this one so that now, in case someone doesn't have this one, you can have it in your text cell. Let me share it here. That one. Perfect. So I was talking about non-technical guys. These are the people who we are really interested in them because we want them to understand what we are doing. We are developers. We are data scientists. We are data analysts. We understand how to write programs. But we have people who don't understand how to write these programs, but they want to use the insights we are getting for their actions, for their decision-making process. So these are people we are interested in. Therefore, we need a way to explain to them in a data storytelling manner the results we are getting. Therefore, now we've added the markdown here. So based on this markdown, now anyone can understand that this is a print statement that is mainly used to print any object to the user. So an object can either be numerical object or a textual object. If you're dealing with a numerical object, you are noticing that we don't need the quotation marks. And also we can do some arithmetics to them. We can add them and so on. And we are getting the outputs here. On the other hand, we can also deal with textual objects. And we are seeing that textual objects are basically characters in a certain sequence. Therefore, you cannot display a text object unless you put them inside double quotation marks. And mainly that one is to show where the sequence started, like this one, it started here and it ended here. Oh yeah, you're disconnected. Let me do the markdown text for you again. I saw your text. Let me do that one for you again. So any question there? I know this one might look easy. It might look, I don't know whether it's harder. I'm not sure. I think I gave you the wrong one. Sorry, I gave you the wrong one. I should have. I think it's the right one. Let me see. It's all good. Okay. Okay, good. So I'm not sure whether it's easy or hard, but as on my side, I can say this is now Python that you want to learn. It's normally perceived as one of the easiest languages that anyone from any background can understand and use for the projects that they have. But now, starting now from tomorrow, because I want to end my lesson here today, we are now going to go and now break down the most important concepts that we need to understand while now doing our Python programming classes. Which means that now tomorrow we are going to start by now understanding what are variables, and so on and so forth. Yes, I'm being told to repeat the markdown a bit. So I'm saying that a markdown is basically a piece of text, like this one here, that will accompany your code. This is your code. To try to explain the results of what you're doing. Okay, it's basically a way you can use to communicate with non-technical guys. For technical guys, I'm very sure they know what this code is doing here. But for non-technical guys, because this can be compiled as a document or a report, we need to have a markdown text to explain our results to the non-technical guys, who are the majority, who are very interested in this work we are doing. I hope I've answered. So it's just a text like this one that accompanies a code like this one here, just to explain to the user what this piece of code is doing, because most of us don't understand the codes. But if you provide a very good explanation of what you're doing, now I'm able to understand what you've done. I want you to imagine you are interacting with a board of directors. So board of directors have different people from different backgrounds. But all these directors are interested to know the insights you are getting. Therefore, you'll have to explain to them using the markdown the answers or the insights that you're getting. I hope I've answered it. So now let's do I hope I've answered you, Don. Let's do one more interesting program, then we call it a day. So yesterday, I want you to add another code cell. Please add for me another code cell. I show you how beautiful this language is. So let's add a code cell here. So make sure you have a code cell here. So I want to open a very interesting code I was writing yesterday. It was very interesting. I was actually trying to build a game. I want to show you how powerful this language is. So I was actually building a game somewhere. Yes, I've seen it. Thank you. This is a very nice one. So in the coming days that we have, starting now from tomorrow, I hope today now we've understood the environment and we've understood what is programming. So in the coming days that we have, we are going to now start understanding the foundations of writing an efficient program that can execute a certain task. Like this was very interesting for me. He was able to write a code that can play a game. He can play a game. I hope it should also be very interesting to you. And the game this guy wrote, it's called the Russian Roulette. I don't know whether you've heard about it. The Russian Roulette. It's actually a game whereby you'll be playing with a computer to see who will die first. Okay. So before I run it, I know this will be very interesting to you as well. I'm giving you the code on the chat. Just copy and paste it in your code cell. Make sure it's the code cell. Is it really copying? Let me do. Let me copy it again. Then now we can play. Sorry, we can play. I think it's not copying. I don't know why. Why is it not copying? I think for the classes, I think it was communicated on the email. I'm not. Okay. I don't know why it's not able to copy. But let me try one more time. One more time. I can copy. Cell. But if it's not able to copy today, I think I'll find a way to share the code with you so that now you can see how interesting this language is. I don't know why, but it's not copying. But I think we can just demonstrate it here. Then I'll find a way to share it with you later. Then you can test. So this is just a Python program. This is actually a Python program that was written to play a game. So if I want to see how the game works, I can now start it off here. So it's running. It shouldn't be that one. It should be this one. I'm really sorry. It should be this one. Let me stop this one. Just stop it. Yeah, this one here. So it's actually a game called Russian Roulette, where you're playing with a computer, or you can even play with your friend. And now for this game, it's called a Russian Roulette. So this is a print statement. You're going to play against your PC. There is one gun and one bullet. All you have to do is pick who starts first. So if you press M, you'll press M if you want to start, or you will press P if you want the PC to start. Therefore, let's say I want to start. So it's like the gun is being pointed on my head, and they want to see whether the bullet will fire. So let's see. I want to go ahead. So I'll provide an input. I want us to relate that one. Sometimes as you write a program, you will be providing inputs to the program. So the program is waiting for my inputs. Do you want either to start, you press M, or do you want the PC to start, you press P. So if I press enter, M, I've started. So now the first round, the gun has been loaded. The gun is placed on my head. These are all print statements. And now the gun is being fired. And it was fired. And let's see. Yes, I died. I died on the first round. The gun that was fired killed me. So what I want to show you that this is actually a print statement to say, sorry man, you died, better luck next time. Don't forget to send a pig to heaven, and so on and so forth. This is a very interesting language. I'm sure you're going to notice that one as we now proceed later. Can you see the word, sorry man, you died, better luck next time? It is actually a print statement. I want to display the text, you died, better luck next time. And that is what you're seeing exactly right here. So starting from tomorrow, we are going to talk about some of the building blocks of programming, including how do you make a decision, how do you run iteration, how do you define a function, how do you import libraries. Like this is a library I've imported. I've imported a library called time so that I can know when I'm playing or when the piece is playing. So let me run it one more, then I can check on your questions, and then we can call it a class for today. So So it's Russian roulette. You're going to play against the PC. There's one gun and one bullet. All you have to do, let's say the PC starts. So P, then I press enter. I press enter. Sorry. The gun has been loaded. The gun is placed on the CPU PC head. And the gun is fired. Nothing happened. So the CPU missed the gun. So it's now my turn. Now I have 2 bullets. I have 2 bullets. Now it's being fired, and so on and so forth. I think it's now in my head. Nothing happened. So now it's the PC's turn. Now we have 3 bullets. So until the 6th round, when someone has to die. So remember those kind of iteration. Those are what we are calling looping. I'm looping the first iteration, the second iteration, the third iteration, and then the PC was killed. I survived. I was lucky this time, and I think this is very fun. So with that one, I'm going to find a way today to share with you this kind of code. All you have to do is to paste it in your code cell and then run it, and then you'll see your output as a markdown, or not a markdown, but as a notebook right here. So let me go through your questions, and then now definitely recall it again. Yes, I think I had answered this one. Yes, where should I start? Where should I start? I think I had answered about Markdown. It's okay. You can double click on it. How do you run the Markdown? You just double click on it. Yes, that was the right response. Just double click on it, and then you see that one. I think you got that one right. What else? How do you upload an image? This is a good question. You want to upload an image? Remember, I was talking about files. I didn't want to do much today, but if you want to see how to upload an image on your Google Colab environment, all you have to do is you have to go to your files here. You have to go to your files here. And then, because now you want an image is a file, so you have to go to your files. And then there is an option here to upload. This one here, to upload. So if you click on this one here, it will locate your PC. And this is actually, my drive. I don't know if I have an image. I don't have an image. I think I have an image like Python logo. Click on it. I press open. Then now this image will be uploaded on my Google Colab. It's a PNG image. Then later, I will need a program that will display this image in a code. That is the same way you upload a data set. That is the same way you upload a video, and so on and so forth. Or in a Markdown, I think I've answered the wrong question. In a Markdown, I've given you the wrong response. In a Markdown, which is I think you are talking about a Markdown, we have 2 ways you can do that one. You can work with HTML commands. I'll show you that one. You can work with HTML commands like image, then you source it somewhere. Then the source of that image can be now a link, like that one. That is actually how one way you can put an image. You just have an image, and then you source it somewhere. The source of this image could be, let me see whether this one would work for me. Copy the path. I paste it right here. But it's not, I think it's not displaying. If it's not displaying, then I can just pick an image from the internet. Just say Python. Python. I go to images. I can just pick any image here, like this one here. I just copy the link. Just copy the link. Copy the image link. Copy the image link. Copy the image address. Sorry. Copy the image address. And then you pass it here inside the source, right here, inside the source, that one. So the source of this image is from the internet, and now you're able to see that I'm able to upload it to my Markdown. I can share that one with you. Maybe you can also try out. Yeah, so this is an image I've uploaded from the internet. So let me share that one with you. But there's also another way that I think I'll demonstrate in our subsequent classes. I don't know why my markdown is not printing. Problem. Sorry. It's happening. Yes, I've shared it now. See here? So this is one way you can upload an image, so long as now you just copy the link address for that image and then you put it in your markdown. Let me see another question. I hope I have answered that one. I think now the other question was, what will happen if I write a code and you don't run it? That's a very good question, actually. I write a code, I don't run it. Nothing would happen. Basically, you'll not see an output here. Basically, you'll not see an output here. Yeah, this is something I can mention. I'm not sharing it with everyone. Sorry. What's happening? I'm not sharing it. Oh, I think I'm sharing it. Okay. Okay. Let me share again. Why is it only sharing it to see? What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem with my chat? Yes, it's true. I'm not sharing it with everyone, and I cannot see the reason why. What should I do?
Hi, sorry, where the name is highlighted at your message box, it said to Stacy Akinyi, you can change it to everybody.
Thank you. Yes, I've seen that one. So to everybody. To everybody, yes. Thank you. Then I can now share it. Perfect. I hope now you're able to see it. I hope I've now shared to everyone. Yeah, I've shared now to everyone. Yeah, so perfect. So I think we don't have any more questions for today. I think we are going to call it a class for today. In case there's somewhere you were not able to understand, this video has been recorded. So I think after an hour or 2 hours time, it will be uploaded. Now you can follow it at your own pace and try out the examples. My only worry is that I've not been able to share this game for you. Let me try it one more. And more then if it's not able, I think I'll have to find another way to share it. It's not sharing. So what I'll do, I will share it on the notes in my classroom here. I think I'm going to share it here. So later you can look it up here. You'll find it. Then you can try it out and now see how this language is very interesting. This is not all the only thing you can do in Python. You can do a lot. You can do automation stuff. Now the main thing you're going to do with it, you're going to do data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data visualization, and so on and so forth. So let me see. No more question? Yes, no more question. So let's call it a class for today. For those who are not able to join this one, we are going to have another class at 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in the evening. So have a good day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. In case you have a question, you can always direct it to the WhatsApp group. There's someone who is already there to answer all your questions. Have a good day. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye. Yes, the attendance is automatically recorded on the system here. So if you have attended today, make sure you have actually completed these sections, so that now later we are going to upload some quizzes you can do just to test whether you understood our classes and our lessons today. But it has already been recorded, so long as you've actually followed up to here. So tomorrow we are going now to introduce what are variables and some of the building blocks of Python programming. So enjoy your day. See you tomorrow. For those who are meeting us in the evening, see you at 7:30 p.m. and bye-bye.
Question. Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm still here.
Oh, so right now I don't have access to a laptop or anything. So
Yes.
maybe I can have it by next week. So
Yes.
can it be a problem at the moment?
Okay, not that it's not that challenging for now.
Mm-hmm.
But what will you can ensure? Can you maybe you just need to practice, because you see programming is all about
Via my phone. Can you practice like via phone? Because I tried getting to collab.
what I can do. Let me do a research today. I can see whether there is a software. Are you using Android or iPhone?
Android.
Android. Okay, let me do a research and see whether there is a software you can be doing your practice on the phone as you wait for your laptop. Or you can also do the research. We can do it together. If I find it, I'll share it with you. I've not gotten your name, but you can inbox me through my WhatsApp on the group. And
what's your name in WhatsApp?
Eric Otieno. Eric Otieno.
Okay.
Eric Otieno. Or you can even inbox anyone. This Marshall. There are those guys who are there to help us in any challenge we have. But I think I have your name. Okay, let me share my number here. I can share my contact here. Share my contact here. Yeah, so that's my contact. You can WhatsApp me. You can inbox me. Then we can research together for a solution.
Okay, I'll text you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So bye bye.